In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. And a man of Bethlehem in Judah, with his wife and 2 sons, went to reside in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name was Naomi, and his 2 sons were named Machlon and Chilion. They came to the country of Moab and remained there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth, and they lived there about 10 years. Then those 2, Machlon and Chilion, also died. So the woman was left without her 2 sons and without her husband. In these first 5 verses of the book of Ruth, a woman loses everything. First, she loses her home as she and her family leave famine-stricken Bethlehem, literally the house of bread, which ironically has no food. Then she loses her husband Elimelech, who dies in Moab. And finally, she loses her 2 sons, who die 10 years later. No wonder the woman tells her friends, "I went away full, but the Eternal has brought me back empty." By the end of the story, though, Naomi is full again. Holding her new grandson, Naomi is surrounded by friends who say, "Blessed be the Eternal, who has not withheld a redeemer from you today. May his name be perpetuated in Israel. He will renew your life and sustain your old age." And here's the punchline. The reason that a story with such a tragic beginning can have a happy ending. Naomi's friends continue, "For he is born of your daughter-in-law, who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons." Naomi's life, marked by a tremendous loss, is saved by the love of her daughter-in-law, Ruth. This is a love that is the embodiment of chesed, that particular kind of love that is expressed through acts of kindness and devotion. It is a love of loyalty and steadfastness, of quiet constancy and faithfulness. It is a love without condition or qualification, offered by Ruth with some of the most beautiful words in the Bible. "Do not urge me to leave you, to turn back and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus and more may the Eternal do to me if anything but death parts me from you." And Ruth is more than true to her word. She goes with Naomi back to Bethlehem and then takes it upon herself to go out and glean in the fields to feed herself and her mother-in-law. When Naomi suggests a scheme to get Ruth married to her kinsman Boaz, Ruth bravely risks her safety and reputation in order to secure their future. And Ruth's commitment to Naomi is richly rewarded. She marries Boaz and has a son who will be the grandfather of King David. A poor Moabite woman becomes the progenitor of the Messiah, all because of the power of chesed. But chesed isn't just the stuff of fairy tales. We all have, I hope, seen and experienced it ourselves. Just in the past few months, I've seen it in the husband who lovingly cares for his wife, robbed of almost all speech by dementia, who wants nothing more than to spend every precious minute with his wife before she's gone. I've seen it in the longtime friend who volunteers to fly in and stay while a caregiver is away. And I've seen it in the circle of friends who arrange meals and transportation and companionship every week for one in need. I've seen it in parents who patiently care for children whose needs are seemingly endless, and in children who patiently care for parents whose needs are seemingly endless. Chesed is no casual acquaintance and no fair weather friend. It isn't flashy, and it isn't easy. Chesed requires commitment, sacrifice, and grit. Chesed requires that we show up not just once, but again and again and again. and it is breathtaking to see it in action. But the most wonderful thing about chesed is that it changes us, whether we are the givers or the receivers of such a gift. Naomi, depleted and bitter at the beginning of the story, realizes that in spite of her great suffering, she is still a person worthy of love and joy, a person who still has a life to live. And Ruth, who's also grieving at the beginning of the story, finds not only a new home, not only a new family and new community, but a new purpose in caring for Naomi. For both women, chesed brings comfort, healing, and renewal. In the face of loss and despair, Ruth's love for Naomi saves them both. Chag Sameach.